turn to the mayor's office with our 1S liaison.
Thank you, Senator, for coming. Hi, everyone. Maria Lanza, Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. Just a couple of updates from the city. At the end of April, Mayor Walsh released his $2.7 billion capital improvement plan. And so this plan is in investments of public use all over the city, so parks, schools, libraries and such. A couple of the non-then new investments that we have are $1 million going to Christopher Columbus Park for a playground renovation and further pathway repairs, drainage, and green infrastructure that will mitigate future sea level rise. $1.4 million to the North End Branch Library, and this will be to assess the existing and interior and exterior physical conditions and develop and implement an improvement plan for the library, so that's new. $200,000 for a design for Cutillo Park, and so I know Kirsten's here and she'll touch on that, but it's a design for a comprehensive park renovation, including play lots, courts, passive areas, and other pathways. And then $3 million for the design of a new North End Community Center. And so a couple weeks ago, the Public Facilities Department held a public meeting where they have announced that they selected the Marabella Pool site as a site for a new Mazzaro Center and a new community center. And so this $3 million will go into the design phase of that, which will kick off this fall. And then this also goes along with some existing capital improvements that you see around the neighborhood that are actually, so I just want to touch and give a little update on those. So we have the Langoni Topolo Park Playground, that's a complete renovation, and that is breaking ground this summer. So be sure to watch out for that construction. And right next door at the Elliott School at 585 Commercial Street, that will be open in September, so a brand new school building and getting some of the middle school kids from the Elliott down to that brand new school on Commercial Street. Also, Paul Revere Park, also known as the Prado, that will be complete June 4th, and it coincides with Mayor Walsh's coffee hour, which will be Tuesday, June 4th at 9:30 a.m. at the Prado. So definitely come see the mayor, have a cup of coffee, and enjoy the brand new renovated Prado. And then North Square, which is finishing up construction this summer and will also be opening this fall. So a lot of good existing improvements. We've lived through some growing pains and constructions, water and sewer improvements, but these are the things we get to celebrate, and so you should definitely be cognizant and check them out. And if you have any other questions, budget.boston.gov is the city's budget website. So that's where all the capital improvements and the other budget figures are. Also, last week, Dr. Brenda Casilius was selected as the new Boston Public Schools Superintendent. So she comes to us previously serving as the Education Commissioner from Minnesota from 2011 to 2019. And so she'll be making her rounds around the neighborhood, and we obviously have a very good Boston Public School here in the Elliott, so I'm sure we'll be seeing her around and welcoming her. And then just a couple more events. The Connect Historic Boston Bike and Pedestrian Path ribbon cutting will be on May 23rd, so that is our bike lane on Commercial Street. Whether you like it or not, it's finished, so we got to cut a ribbon. And so join Mayor Walsh on Thursday, May 23rd, to celebrate the improvements, not only on our Commercial Street bike path, but there's also a bike lane that was built on Constitution Road in Charlestown, the Blackstone Block at Union Street reconstruction, and also on Joy Street in Beacon Hill. So definitely stop by that if you're interested. That's Thursday, May 23rd at 12 o'clock, right on Union Street, so right near the Union Oyster House. The Mayor's Coffee Hour, which I already touched upon, is Tuesday, June 4th. And then just lastly, I want to thank all of the volunteers who helped out with Love Your Block, which was Saturday on May 4th. We had over 40 volunteers cleaning around the neighborhood, and I want to thank the neighborhood council in particular. They always show up, and they always have a great team ready to help clean. And so we had some sites like the Elliott School and Cutillo Park, and so having residents volunteer this Saturday morning to help clean up and give back, you know, makes the city's job easier, and we try to do as best as we can. But it always is nice to see volunteers come out. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you to the city for the. So we're working on the treadmill noise to see if someone can maybe be more quieter when they work on their fitness. But in the meantime, we also have Mike Benetti from City Councilor Lee Edwards' office.
Hi everyone, Mike Benetti from Council Edwards' office. No updates compared to Maria's, other than the council has been busy attending budget hearings the month of May, and will continue to voice constituents' thoughts, comments, and concerns throughout the remainder of the budget hearings. If you have anything, feel free to call our office.
Great.
So thank you.
And then we mentioned earlier, but we do have Luigi Natali from our state senator's office, so thank you, my friend. Now turning to the committee reports, I'll ask Pat Bova to give the public safety update.
So, I am told every time we live in a pretty safe part of town comparative to the rest of town. We have a 9% drop in crime from last year, an 18% drop in violent crime. We're in a 10-year low of crime going on 11 years. We had 5 larcenies last month and 3 arrests. And the larcenies are 2 were at CBS, a couple other ones were other typical ones that usually happen, but nothing out of the ordinary. Everything seems pretty good.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. And then Carmen Molina,
Yep.
the Greenway.
So the Greenway Conservancy, our next board meeting is tomorrow night, but we do have some few updates here. So Greenway Open Market began last weekend and takes place every weekend moving forward. Boston Public Market Farmers Market on the Greenway is starting up tomorrow, May 14th. They'll be open Tuesdays and Thursdays. Next piece of public art is the auto show. It's a piece by Carl Onash. It'll be near the carousel and should be completed by Monday's meeting, which is by today, so I'm not sure if it's completed yet. City Winery on the Greenway opened last week. It's going to be open for the summer season. Also, Trillium Garden on the Greenway is going to open this Thursday, the 16th. And also remind you that an annual gala on the Greenway celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Greenway will be on June 6th. Under 10th, I was at the event last year. I'll be going this year as well. It's an amazing, amazing event. Well attended, over 500 people. So if you can make it, just go to the Greenway Conservancy online site for additional information.
Is Glow in the Park?
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. So, yes, June 6th, and our Glow in the Park Young Professionals event will be on Friday, June 7th.
All right, great. No, that's okay. And I think the City Winery, that's Dewey Square, where that's located?
Yes.
So, and that's another one. So I know you mentioned City Winery. So thank you, Carmen. And then for the Harborfront Neighborhood Alliance, we had Tanya and Ashley jointly represent us. So if you could provide just a quick update from that meeting.
Sure. So Tanya and I attended the meeting this past week, and it was all about the Seaplane update. So just so everybody is aware what's going on, I don't know if you've seen them. They've been running test runs with the seaplanes around the seaport area. But Cape Air owns and operates these seaplanes. There'll be 2. 2 Cessna Caravan amphibian planes. They're 9-passenger, 11-seaters, operated by 2 crew. They told us they're quiet with minimal draft, so the noise shouldn't be too much of an issue. They are operating in daytime only, and they're going to operate primarily 9 months a year. They cannot operate when there's ice in the water, so they're thinking, like January, February, March could be a little bit, or December could be a little bit iffy, but they're going to play it by ear. Seaplanes, they do operate in other major cities, again, operated by Cape Air. They operate currently in New York, right on East River on 23rd Street, and they've been doing that since 1920. So this is a common practice and has been around for a while. The landing area, everybody's probably wondering where they're going to be landing. Right in front of Logan Airport, in the harbor, really across from the seaport, is going to be a 3,000-foot landing spot where they only actually need 1,100 feet to land the seaplanes, which is quite amazing if you think about it. So there was a lot of concern over the traffic in the harbor with the sailboats and the powerboats. We actually did a time-lapse video on a few Saturdays this past summer, they as in Cape Air, and just to see the traffic. And the pilot he confirmed a million times at that meeting that he is not worried about the traffic. If they find that they can't land, it's unsafe, there's too much traffic at that time of landing, they go right back up, they'll fly over, they'll basically go over the Charles River and turn around and then fly back and make sure it's safe to land. So they did harp on the safety factor, that they will always land in safe conditions. They will be refueling and docking temporarily to pick up passengers at Pier 4. That's the plan. So Pier 4 and Seaport. And that's where you'll if you are getting a ticket on the plane, you'll board there. And again, you'll depart the aircraft there. There isn't going to be any real strict security. You don't have to go through security like you would at Logan Airport. That's the idea, is to make it easy for business travelers. It's only an hour and 1.25 hours, flight to New York, to and from New York, which is pretty amazing. So as everybody knows, it takes 3+ hours for any other kind of travel to New York from Boston. So again, the idea is for business travelers. And there'll be no parking available or anything like that. It's just come as you are. And what else? I think that's pretty much it. They're flying over, primarily over water too. There are 6 flight paths. One of them does go a little bit over South Boston, but primarily over water. And they can land in emergency situations. They'll land at Logan Airport. You know, if there's somebody that's sick on the flight, or if they just can't land in the water, they can land on land, not just in the water.
Excuse me, Ashley, because I
Yes.
have seen the test runs, and they've actually been going right over the north end. So is that not going to be the case for the regular flights? And they're pretty low and they're pretty loud. So
Really? Well, that's something that, I haven't personally seen it. So I know there was a question that was raised on how loud they actually are, and they couldn't really answer the question in the meeting. So that's something we will follow up on,
Yeah.
and get some answers on actually, what the decibels are and all of that. We'll make a note about flying over the north end, because they did assure us that it's mostly going to be over the water. South Boston was really the only one that we could visibly see on the flight path.
Well, I think in order to land where they are, it is amazing how it hits the water and just stops on there. So they don't really need a lot of water, but they have to do the curve over, like on this side of the Old North, on that side of the harbor side of the Old North Church. In order to hit the water, they have to be pretty low in order to go right down there.
Yeah, we'll go back and ask them that. We got their contact information, so if there's any additional questions that you have, please let us know.
Did they make a presentation so we know
Yes.
what's going on?
They offered that.
They offered.
Yep.
I think we'd like that.
Okay. Yeah, we can definitely ask them to do that. And then just the last thing, the cost is going to be $300 to $400 for a one-way ticket.
All right. Thank you, that was very informative. Yeah, one sec, can I just ask, has your office gotten any calls about this, particularly from the Eastie residents?
They did come out and make a presentation to Jesse's Point Neighborhood Association in East Boston. So we got some inquiries, obviously, regarding, the noise mitigation, the noise happening in East Boston. I've spoken to Dan Wolf about it a little bit. He was a former senator, now he owns Cape Air. But I'm sure, I'm sure you guys didn't have him out. But if you're having any trouble getting him out, let me know, and I'll make sure to get him down.
Right.
I was just going to say, that Jeffrey Point, 4 Point, South Boston, the whole point of this Harborfront Neighborhood Alliance is to work together on issues. I know that because they're the ones that are primarily being affected based on where they're landing and coming in from, they reached out. This has been in the conversation for the past 6 months. It's kind of been something that's, everyone's waiting for something to be settled and kind of established. Now that Cape Air is kind of really taking the lead on it, this is the time to actually get called into a meeting and see what they have to say and hear your concerns. So we'll definitely be reaching out to them.
Does anyone else have any other questions in the meantime? Great, thank you. Ashley, Tanya? No, I'm just kidding. We'll keep with Ashley and talk about responsible urbanites for fire, otherwise known as RUF.
Yes, so rough updates, very exciting news. I'm excited anyways that the North End Yappy Hour is back for this summer. So all of you with a dog, you can appreciate it. Even if you don't have a dog, you just love dogs, you can feel free to come, but we're kicking things off for this season on May 29th. Since Living Room has closed, we will relocate to Battery Wharf Hotel, the patio outside, right, but looking at the Coast Guard station, that's where it will be held. So very excited about this new space. They've been a great partner to work with, and it'll be sponsored by Rough North End, obviously, Polka Dog Bakery, Absolute Vodka, and I will be helping facilitate the events alongside Rough. Again, the first event is May 29th at 5:30, and the second event is going to be on June 19th, and then we're going to take it from there. They're basically going to be at the end of the month on like a Wednesday night.
Are you still gonna have like cups and everything for sale as well? Or-
Yep, there'll still be those cups for sale, the Rough cups that will give back to the Rough Foundation.
So even if you want to come by to help, I mean, we talk about a lot of the dog problems that are involved in the North End, and this is a group that tries to curb that by providing bags and other things, which all, of course, are costly. So if you want to just go to support, that'd be great, even if you don't have it.
Yes, exactly, great point.
So thank you, Ashley. And then Jody for the resident parking?
On the resident parking front, I think probably a lot of you have heard that Councilor Wu is sponsoring a proposal with City Council to initiate a fee program for resident parking. It would be a $25 fee annually for a single car. Second, third, fourth would be $25 more expensive than the first, or than the prior, so $50, $75, and on. The idea would be to reduce congestion, reduce the amount of cars on the street, but obviously it's a controversial proposal, so we'll be keeping a watch on it.
What's to be done with the money?
I understand it's transportation infrastructure.
Get away from this one.
It's $25. It's to install gondolas in Fort No, obviously, it's just proposed, and we'll keep an eye on it, so thank you, but at this time, that's really okay, so then on to, Maria alluded to this earlier, Cutillo Park Friends Group has been newly established, but we already have some good things going on, so I have Kirsten Hoffman here to provide us with an update.
Yeah, so just a couple of very brief updates regarding Cutillo Park. Maria mentioned that in the city's proposed budget, there's $200,000 for a redesign of the park. That will involve a community process, right? So we want everybody in the community to be involved in the community process so that we can get a park that meets the needs and desires of the North End. So that's a great thing. We really appreciate that from the city. We also, there's also $25,000 in the state's proposed budget for Cutillo Park, so that's good news as well. And in addition to that, a smaller amount of money, but Munich and Friends of Cutillo Park cooperated on a Love Your Block grant, mini grant, and project that I think these guys have mentioned before. So that'll be going on during the course of the summer. We're planning to reduce the height of a couple of the fences to make the park feel a little bit less like a vacant lot or a jail cell. And also add some planters and some additional greenery. And we'll have some other events, including power washing. The park greatly needs power washing at this point. And a cleanup and maybe some, miscellaneous painting and maybe a barbecue during the course of the summer, so keep your eyes open for that. And then lastly, at the Boston Harbor Pop-Up Gallery, or Robin Reed's studio space, which is at the corner of Washington and Causeway Streets, right next to the Boston Club, we have an exhibit of historical maps and articles and photos that we found. during the course of researching the history of the park. The park's about 100 years old, and has had a really interesting history in the North End. And that exhibit will be there through July, so if you get a chance, stop by. Robin also has a bunch of other really interesting exhibits in her studio space. So it's very active and interesting. So, and that's it unless anybody has a question. No?
Any questions for Kirsten?
$3 million grant for the park, is
$200,000, but we,
Oh, okay.
yeah, we take the payment. That's next. Thank you.
Thank you, Kirsten. Does anyone have any questions on the council or from the audience? I mean, this is pretty exciting for the much needed repairs. They're certainly in the process of doing a lot of things, so if you want to get involved or have any other questions, concerns, comments, I'm sure that they would welcome them and love to have you. I mean, did you write your contact information for the Gmail?
Yeah, we have an email address and a website. Our meetings are the last Wednesday of every month, and right now they're at the Nazaro Center. Last Wednesday of every month at 6:30.
Thank you.